if we're going to investigate healing, let's for a moment look at the nature of healing itself. And first, we can look at what we might call worldly healing, which in some way or another says, I got what I wanted. Isn't that the truth? That's the conditioning. When I get what I want, then I'm healed. And look at all the different ways that that could play out. Like when I stop being so emotional, then I'll be healed. When I get what I want. Or if you have the flu, you could say, when I don't have the flu, then I'll be healed. When this, that, and the other goes away, then I'll be healed. When my partner does what I want them to do, our relationship will be healed. Do you see that? The sort of conditioning in that way of seeing healing? And healing in its most original context simply means wholeness, a return to wholeness. And naturally, when there is wholeness, there's a particular wellness that comes with all things being whole. And I would say that what we crave more than getting what we want is that we crave this wellness. We crave a sensation of wholeness. Naturally, that's the motivation behind all of the wanting. I want this, that, and the other, or I don't want this, that, and the other, because I want to be whole. And this, that, and the other threatens my wholeness. Or I'm under the assumption that when I can be this way or be that way, then I'll be whole. Then I'll be healed. And yet, in a very sincere way, the ancient pointing of healing, it's an invitation that doesn't have anything to do with getting something, changing something. And I guess just to say it directly, first and foremost, I'm just talking to myself here, so don't take it personally. But just to say it directly, healing has everything to do with how you see. This is what asks to be healed. How you see, what you think you see. And my goodness, this is so incredibly beautiful because it shows you that healing is about right now. So many of us, innocently so, we project healing into the future. We want to be healed in the morrow, not looking at what's possible right now. We want to protect our future. And so we want to have healing resemble some sort of control over tomorrow. And none of that's wrong. It's just an innocent misunderstanding of what healing really is. And I totally understand it from the sincerity of our humanness that gets lost in the mind and believes so strongly in its assumptions, in its conditioning, in its wanting. But I invite just an openness to see what I'm pointing to here. Because, and I've mentioned this quite a few times, as with everything else I'm saying today, if you look at the problematic experience in our humanness, what you might call our violent tendencies, they all are sprung from the belief that something's unhealed, sprung from the belief that I don't have what I want, the belief that something's wrong with me. The invitation in this short time together is to maybe just slightly open the window and let some light in where we can see a wholeness, a healing that's already done and just not seen, innocently so. It's funny how the mind could think that because you don't see something, something's wrong with you. What a vicious cycle that creates. But understand it's very innocent to not see these things. It's very human to not see these things. And so this time together is just an invitation to see that. And then we'll let tomorrow take care of tomorrow. But right now we can be present and see what's true. Healing perception. And granted, I'm using words and language to point to these things, and words and language are impossible tools to actually define anything. But healing perception is kind of like where we're able to see what's actually happening rather than seeing the projection that comes from our confusion. And you know, there's an illustration here that I use quite a bit, but it's super powerful and super sweet. And that's the opportunity to look in the mirror and ask yourself, what do I see? Do I see what's really there? Or do I see the mind's projections? Do I see the mind's judgments? Do I see the conditioning? And you'll notice that if there's any unwellness as you look at yourself in the mirror, you're not seeing what's really there. You're not seeing the truth. You're innocently blinded by the mind's conditioning, the fearful projections, all the noise. And then we try and manage the noise, change the noise as if the noise is really there. This is what we do so much in our lives, and I watch myself do it all the time. So welcome to the club, where we buy into the mind's content, thinking that what we're thinking is actually happening. And then we try and change it as if it's actually happening, but it's not even happening. That's really super cute. This is why we exhaust ourselves, going nowhere. Ultimately, to exhaust ourselves and to become open to see what's really there. And we see, oh, it's not a problem. And so you see that profound difference in looking in the mirror. where you can look and totally not see what is really there. And again, this points to looking from a place beyond the mind. It's like setting down the mental commentary and connecting with what you're really sharing space with. It's like listening to another human being and letting go of everything you want from that human being and connecting with the heart of another. And my goodness, what a great opportunity to just investigate that relationship with yourself. Because again, it's like if you have a relationship with another human being and it seems unhealed, you'll find that you want something from them. You'll find that they're not giving you something. They're not validating something. They're not being how you want them to be. You want something from them. And so it's impossible to truly see them. It's impossible to see anyone when you want something from them. You're essentially saying, give me what I want, and then I'll see you. And if there's the experience of feeling like you are unhealed, look at everything that you want from yourself and that you might, in a way, violently hold yourself hostage over. You should be like this. You should be like that. So much noise. So much noise. And the question here is, what's really true? And in order to see what's really true, you have to, if even just for a moment, lay down what you think you want. Do you see the dynamic there? Where it's required. In order to see what's real, you have to be present. Totally present. And you can't be totally present if you feel like you're missing something. If you feel like there's something in the future that you have to have, because then you try and use the present moment to get to the future, which isn't listening to the present moment, right? Just like in a relationship with another human being, if you want something from them, you're listening from a space of manipulation, saying, how can I get you to give me what I want? Super cute. But to really be present and to really listen, to magical listening, you have to let go of what you want. And this is the healing that's already done. You recognize a wholeness that's already present. It's super sweet. And yes, I understand it might seem difficult to stay there, but that's not the intention. The opportunity, the present moment opportunity, is just to see it right now. In a way, what I recognize is I see how insane I am. I see how insane I am in my humanness, where I become preoccupied by the mind's noise, where I don't see the wholeness. I don't see the healing that's already done. And then I get lost in my chasing. And that getting lost creates pain. And that pain invites me back to the present moment to see what's really true here. Real healing is wholeness. And you know, this might be difficult for some because it really jeopardizes everything that we want. But what I see for myself is that real healing doesn't have anything to do with me. And what I mean by that is healing doesn't happen because I get what I want. Healing already is, whether I like it or not. And the character of me, the ego of me, doesn't like that healing is already done because the character of me thinks it wants something in the future. And so the character fights and fights and fights for what it thinks it wants, thinking that it can capture it, only to inevitably watch it fail every time, which is beautiful because it points me back to the present moment. And you see, this is the struggle that I find in the humanness that is so universal, is that the unhealed perception is so intimately intertwined with us chasing something, wanting something. Again, whether it's for ourselves or from other people. And I get it. I totally get it how it seems necessary that we get what we want and how important it might seem. And what might be a fun exercise is to look at things in your past that you desperately wanted and you thought you would die if you didn't get them, only to check in with this moment and see how whole and complete you are. And you recognize the delusion of the mind when it becomes convinced that it wants something or that it needs something. It shows me that I can't ultimately trust the mind, where I can watch the mind say, I want this or I want that. Please be like this or please be like that. But I really don't know if that's best. I really don't know if it serves the wholeness of all things. And again, wholeness, the healing is in what already is. And I wonder if I articulate that in a way you understand. And I guess the analogy that we can use, some might get sick of me talking about this, but until I find a better one, I'm going to keep using it. But it's like the exploration of nature itself. And I wrote about this recently, but when I look at the trees and when they're dropping leaves and making a mess, I can say that the tree is unhealed. There's something wrong with it. It's not doing what I want it to do. And so I can perceive it as unwhole because it doesn't give me what I want or what I think I want. But yet, the more I can take a moment and see the wholeness of the tree, see the reality of the tree, I see that its dropping of leaves is required for the tree to be the tree, even if it perceivably makes a mess on the ground. Even to see it as a mess isn't to see what it really is, it's to see what I turn it into. And so the healing is already done. The tree isn't unhealed. It's my perception of the tree that is unhealed. It gives me some chills a little bit. It's not other people are unhealed. It's my perception of them is unhealed. I'm not really seeing them. I am in the way. thinking I know something that I don't really know, afraid of not getting what I want. And just like the dropping of the leaves for the tree has its seasons where sometimes it's like this, sometimes it's like that. And just like nature, there are sometimes we encounter super beautiful things, and equally so, there are those things that are terribly ugly, according to how I see them. But it doesn't mean that terribly ugly is evidence of an unhealed nature. It's part of it. And the dropping of the leaves for the tree isn't just so the tree can be the tree, but it's so that life can be life. The tree dropping leaves, even though I might not like it, is what allows for life to be life. It's part of life's wholeness. It's already healed. It's already done. Now, as this relates to ourselves, just recognize the more we don't see the truth of what we are, the more we are lost in the mental commentary that projects something terrifying or something unworthy or unwhole. Look at how much more problematic that makes the human experience. Like seeing yourself as unhealed creates more evidence of it. It makes living more difficult. It's like you walk around in the dark and bump into that, hurting yourself. And we can say I'm unhealed because I'm constantly bumping into things. No. Turn the light on. It speaks to, yes, a total embrace and acceptance of what you are, which very sincerely is quite scary. And I noticed that in my experience, like the invitation to totally accept myself as I am. Are you crazy? There's so many things that I could judge, condemn, and push away. It's like looking at the tree and saying, wait, you want me to accept the tree as it is? But it's making a mess. It's dropping all these leaves. I don't want it to be like that. I'm not going to accept it as it is. It's not giving me what I want. Okay, well, how's that going? Oh, it's super sweet. You see how terrified we are to accept ourselves? And it might be a cute spiritual phrase, to say that I want to accept myself, but do you really? Do you see the implications of that to truly accept? Imagine it in a relationship, right? Like, say there's relationship drama and you're presented with the invitation to truly accept this other person, and you don't want to accept them because you want them to give you what you want. Give me what I want and then I'll accept you. That's not acceptance. Adorably so, that's manipulation. We're super cute humans. And part of this humanness is to get lost, is to get confused, is to not get what you want. So much so that if you look at the profound discoveries in your life that have opened you up to more love, to more presence, to letting go, has it been through getting what you want? No. It's led to a surrendering of what you want, an openness to see what's actually real. And then in seeing what's actually real, you connect with what you actually want. Not what the mind thinks you want, but what the heart wants. These things that I'm saying are very, very, very simple, but understandably so. This is very, very difficult for the human being. And I understand that and I acknowledge that. And my heart goes out to you if you're struggling through it right now. And if you're not struggling through it, just wait a little bit. It'll come back around. Lovely. I think that's kind of all I have to say about it right now, or I'm going to get lost in another tangent. But be still and know. And part of the motivation for doing this video today is to invite you to explore that healing exploration bundle. I put together a bunch of individual explorations on healing, the gift of heartbreak, healing the wound of inadequacy, healing childhood trauma, and healing through grace. And, it's nothing new. It's all stuff that I talk about, but it might be presented in slightly different ways that you might enjoy. And I think they're beautiful. They're not there to fix you, they're there as sort of companions in video, audio, and ebook format that you can enjoy. I think this is so important to clarify because we can rush into things thinking it will fix us. And that's kind of my big hesitation in sharing the work that I do and even charging for it. People thinking that, oh, if I buy this, then it will fix me. Nope. Buy this because you enjoy it. Buy this because it helps to create a space for you to see what's true in that moment. And then you get to support this sharing, which works out really nicely. And as always, if it's something that you just totally can't afford, let me know. I have a very difficult time totally turning people away from opportunities to connect. But we'll see what happens. But yeah, check it out and see if it resonates. And if you buy it and it just totally doesn't resonate with you, then there's an automatic refund policy thing where you just log in and click a button, get your money back. That's my sales pitch. But I hope you're well. And if you're not, I'm sorry. This too shall pass. Thanks for taking some moments to investigate the miracle that you already are. I appreciate you guys. Till next time. Cheers.